Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Welcome back to another video. We are going away from the vlogs today and doing a little bit of something different. I really like to film these videos every once in a while. I really like watching them, so I really like filming them as well. And I actually used the little feature on YouTube, which is the first time I've done that, to ask if anyone had any questions or anything that we could sit and chat about over a coffee. I've just grabbed a little Starbucks, my new absolute go-to drink. I can't believe I've left it this long to try it, to be honest. I feel like it's such a basic order from Starbucks. I've been trying out all of these like bougie drink ideas that literally take me about 5 minutes to read out through the drive-through, and the simplest one is my favourite so far, and it's just literally an iced white mocha. So I got one of those, first coffee of the day, so this is very much needed. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having a little bit of a catch up, a little bit of a chat. We can have a coffee, and I'm going to go through the questions that we got on the little YouTube poll, and I'm also going to just chat about like things that I get a lot of questions about over on TikTok. I feel like I still get, there's like a pattern of the type of questions that I get, so I feel like we can just chat over them in these videos, because I feel like it's just the perfect opportunity to just have a bit of a catch up, cover some things that I don't usually sit down and talk about in like my day-to-day vlogs. So welcome back to another video. Let's get straight into the questions. I'm going to have a mouthful of coffee before we start though. So good. It's like the perfect level of sweetness for a coffee. If you're not like a strong coffee person, definitely recommend trying the iced white mocha. So good. Right, so let's just get straight into it. There's going to be a bit of everything in here. There's going to be a bit about work. There's going to be a bit about life in general, houses, goals, anything and everything is covered in here. And the questions that I got on the little YouTube question poll thing were really good, so I'm excited to chat about these. So, God, it's hot in here. Also, this top, by the way, I love it. It's from PLT. I had to put a few emergency stitches in here because I feel like it's hanging on for dear life. Like those little threads there, I feel like could just pop open at any minute. And I'm not going to lie, I have actually packed a spare top just in case my boobs just like pop out of this top. Not that they're that big, but you know, these little buttons don't feel like they're very strong. But anyway, I'm going to go through these questions, and I'm just going to go through in order, so there's no real like context to these or order. They're just going to be really unorganised, and I'm just going to answer as we go. So first one, dream meal, starter, main and dessert. And I'm not going to lie, me and Sam literally love our food, so I feel like we've spoken about this so many times and I feel like it's just going to roll off my tongue. Starter, I definitely have bread of some sort. I am a bread kind of girl. Bread or cheese, you know, like breaded cheese, little cheesy bites or something like that. We went out for a meal for our 5-year anniversary. If you're local to the East Yorkshire area, in Beverley, Lucia's, oh my God, I can't believe we haven't been yet. We were both obsessed with it. The actual restaurant itself was beautiful, and we had the most stunning meal. Like, because I'm on this nutrition plan, when I have a cheat meal, it literally tastes like sex in my mouth. I'm not gonna lie, like I just enjoy food so much more now because it's such a treat. We were both saying this because we're both on a bit of a healthy eating plan, because we have that kind of food less regularly now. When we do have it, it's like, oh, it's like a next level enjoyment. And we had these pinwheels. It was basically like really stodgy, doughy pizza base rolled up with like loads of garlic butter, and it was literally dripping in garlic butter, and it was so good. So I'd probably have like some sort of garlicky cheesy bread for a starter. Then a main, no question about it, a burger. Burgers are my favourite food of all time. And this diet plan that I'm on, I actually pretty much have a burger every single night in a bagel thin, so it's not been a struggle for me at all. But a proper juicy burger with like cheese, bacon, jalapenos. Honestly, I'd have a burger over a steak. Let me know if you would. I always say this to Sam. I feel like steak is seen as like a really expensive bougie dinner, but I'd have a burger over a steak any day. And then dessert, I'm a proper chocolate girl, so it'd probably have to be like a warm chocolate brownie with ice cream. I love the combo of like hot and cold, like warm and cold. If you have like a warm pudding and then like cold cream or cold ice cream, that just does it for me. This is torture on a diet. At least we've got our little coffee to keep my sweet tooth at bay. But yeah, I'd go for cheesy garlicky bread to start, burger and chips for the main, and then for dessert I'd go for like a chocolate brownie and vanilla ice cream. Okay, next question. I've had a couple actually about like holidays and travel and stuff, so maybe I'll group those together. But this one says, have you guys ever done any cruise holidays, or would you consider going on a cruise in the future? I've just got back from, oh, amazing. No, is the short answer to that. I would not consider going on a cruise. I can see the perks of going on a cruise. Like, I love how you get to see so many places in like one holiday, and you can wake up in a new place, and I feel like it's a good way of like ticking loads of places off. And I've seen some cruise ships and they look amazing, like what you get on board, and they look really fun. But I just really don't like the sea. I don't know, it really freaks me out. And I feel like some of the TikTok videos that I get on my For You page really scare me about like cruises and stuff. You know that sound where it's like a music, it's like a background music sound. I'm not going to attempt to like sing it off to you, but it's like a really creepy like pirate sound. And it's always on these like cruise ship or boat creepy stories of people like going overboard and stuff like that. I feel like that's not helped my fear. But me and Sam both have said like we would never go on a cruise. I don't know, I think it's a bit of a phobia. Like, even when I'm on holiday and we go on a beach holiday, I don't swim in the sea. It's really weird. Like, when I go away with my two best friends, they're proper like sea swimmers. Like, they will get up to like their shoulders, they'll be swimming out until you can literally see their little pea head miles away. But I will literally just paddle with my feet, and that is as far as I will go. I don't like fish. I've got a phobia of fish, which I know sounds absolutely bizarre. But you know, like if you're in the sea and something hits your leg or something like that, the thought of that actually terrifies me. And I've never liked fish. I don't eat fish, and I'm scared of fish when they're alive, which I know sounds bizarre. I've just got this weird phobia of them. So I think that all ties into it. Like, I don't like the sea, don't like fish, a bit scared of like being on a boat. I don't know, they've just never appealed to me, but I can definitely see the appeal. But yeah, me and Sam will definitely go to like, I think me and Sam with our holidays, like after going to America and like ticking off loads of places in one holiday, we're kind of looking to do more of that. Especially when it's like a long haul flight, it's nice to split it up and then you see more places. But yeah, we'll definitely be doing that by aeroplane and not by cruises. I don't know. My dad's going on a cruise actually this year. He's going in August. He's doing like a Mediterranean cruise, and it goes like all along like the Italian coast and stuff like that. It sounds really good. But yeah, not for me, unfortunately. And then another question we've got is, do you plan on more travel vlogs? And since our America content, we keep getting loads of questions on my TikTok about like traveling and vlogging, and someone commented like, oh, I really miss your holiday vlogs, like can you do more holiday vlogs? And it's like, well, yeah, but we need to be on holiday for us to do that. And I'm not gonna lie, America was a huge holiday, and it cost a lot. It cost a lot of money to go. Has the lighting gone weird? Sorry, I think my camera's getting a bit hot. But yeah, as you can imagine, it costs a lot to go on that America holiday, and it was like a huge bucket list holiday, one that I can imagine that we will literally remember for the rest of our lives. I'm gonna crack a window open, hang on. Is that gonna be annoying? Background noise, I don't know. I think my camera's freaking out because it's so hot. But yeah, America cost a lot of money, like a lot of money, the most we've ever spent on a holiday. So we're still like trying to recover from that, but we have got some travel plans for the summer. We're both going away with our friends, which will be really nice, separately obviously. And then we are planning on doing a big holiday in September. We want to go to Bali. I've always wanted to go to Bali, so I think we're looking around my birthday time, but because obviously Bali's such a long flight, we are going to try and split it up. So we're going to do a few days in Dubai, then go on to Bali, I think is the plan. So hopefully we can make that happen. Obviously we've still got a few months left to do that, to save up for that and to prep for that. So hopefully there's going to be a couple more holiday vlogs and content and videos. But yeah, we obviously, like, we've got a mortgage, we've got a house we need to pay for. Unfortunately, we can't spend as much money on travel constantly as much as I would like to. But to be totally honest with you, like with the TikTok Creator Fund and stuff like that, it has kind of opened a lot of doors, because I can't believe that this is even a possibility. But when we were in America, we did actually earn some money back from my videos, which is just an incredible opportunity. So we do kind of want to rinse that for what it's worth. I said to Sam, like, we're going to look back when we're older and think, why did we not rinse that more? Do you know what I mean? Like, we can get money back from going on holiday because obviously the content's a bit more interesting, you reach new people, that kind of thing. So yeah, we do want to travel more. We want to focus on travel before we decide to have kids and things like that. So in the next few years, travel is a priority of ours. But obviously we still need to be sensible. We've still got bills to pay. We've still got a mortgage to pay. So we go on holiday as much as we can afford to at the moment. So hopefully in this summer, the answer to that question, there will hopefully be some more travel vlogs, probably like September time. And then another question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's the first thing you want to achieve next? And this is a really good question because I kind of thought, like, I don't know. Like, I've always been a type of person that has like a goal, is working towards something, is focusing on something. I obviously went to uni, so through school you're getting your GCSEs, and then the next bit is you're going to uni, you need to get your A-levels. So I've always had like a goal to work towards. And when you come out of education, when you've been through that whole system, it's like, what do I do? Like, no one's telling you like a next goal to achieve. There's no like boxes that need to be ticked. You kind of just have to make your own way. Sorry guys, that was so annoying. My camera overheated mid-sentence when I was really getting into my answer there. So I've just had to like blast the aircon. So we might have to keep taking aircon breaks. The camera isn't really doing its thing right now. I think it's because I'm facing the sun. I'm probably not helping matters. But where do you see yourself in the next 5 years was the question. And as I was saying, like, I've been someone that's been like in the education system since obviously like primary school, and then I went to uni. So from like 4 to the age of 21, there's always been like a next step, like, oh, I'm working towards that, I'm doing this, I'm getting my results to go on to the next thing. And I actually really struggled with that when I graduated. I spoke about this in a TikTok the other day, but like, obviously I haven't used my degree for my career. I did my qualification in interior design. My degree is in interior design, and I obviously haven't used that. But I struggled with that coming out of uni, because obviously I just had to find a job, and then I was like, is this it? Like, because I'm not gonna lie, I was in a pretty dead-end job. Like, there was no room for progression. I really hated the environment that I worked in. I didn't like click with the people that I worked with, and it just felt really claustrophobic, and it felt like there was no way out for me. And I was like, is this it? Like, and if you're someone that's gone through the education system, you'll know, like, you kind of like don't have that direction anymore. So I did really struggle with that. And I'm kind of in a bit of that now. Like, I'm really enjoying my work life at the moment. Obviously, if you're new here, you don't know, or if you've watched my previous catch-ups, you would know that I am a freelance social media manager. But to be honest now, I always say that, but to be honest now, I'd say my own platform, so like my TikTok, my YouTube's a small amount, obviously we're not there quite yet, but like my TikTok actually probably makes up about 85% of my work life now, like financially, which is crazy. Like, that is an absolute dream come true. But a bit of imposter syndrome. I feel like there's something stopping me from like saying that that's my job. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I sit and think like, how is this actually real? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's why I still cling on to my social media management. Obviously I really enjoy it. To be honest with you, financially, like financial gain versus time spent on it, it doesn't make sense for me to do that anymore. Being completely honest with you, like the opportunities that I get through my TikTok and stuff like that, it's really growing and it's really expanding, and obviously I'm so grateful and I feel really lucky to be in that position, and I work really hard for it, and it's something that I want to continue growing. But I kind of don't have any like specific goals within that. Do you know what I mean? I do really miss owning a brand. I was talking to this with Sam the other night, because again, if you haven't watched my videos before, you wouldn't know, but I had a small business when I left my previous job. The way that I became self-employed was starting my own small business, and that's what allowed me initially to leave my 9-to-5 job, and that was doing like dried flowers. So I did dried flowers, I sold like little bits of homeware, and I do really miss that feeling of like having a little baby. Like, I used to do everything. I used to do like the website, I designed all the website, obviously all the product photography, the graphic design for like the labels and the packaging, and you just get like such a sense of pride when you literally do every kind of element within a business. But obviously it was a very small business. I never scaled it to any sort of like real, do you know what I mean? It was just like a real small business, but I still am really proud of that, and I really did enjoy it. But yeah, as I was saying, I really miss having that feeling of like owning a brand and like having that pride over every little detail, and looking at a product and thinking like, I've taken this from my brain into like real life and people are spending their hard-earned money on it. But I also said to Sam, like, I wouldn't even think about starting a brand unless I had like a big upfront investment to put into it, because I just feel like in this day and age there's so many small businesses now, and I feel like I just wouldn't do it unless I could do it properly. And to do it properly you need a big chunk of money to get it going, basically. So it's not on the cards at the moment, but I can see myself in the future sort of like starting up a little business, whether that's like within social media, so like an agency or that kind of thing, or an actual brand where we sell a product or design something. I don't know. But in the next 5 years, that took a real bad detour. Sorry about that. I feel like I just covered everything within that question, but I've gone right off topic. But where do I see myself in 5 years? What's the first thing that you want to achieve next? Me and Sam have obviously got to move house as well. So within the next year, really, we need to move house. So I don't know where we're going to end up living. I don't know where we're going to live in an apartment. We have actually spoke about maybe renting for a while to kind of decide on the area that we want to live in. So that could be fun. Maybe we'll just spend like a year kind of moving around and getting like some ideas of where we want to settle and buy our next house. But I just want to continue growing my social media presence, I think, because that's what I'm enjoying the most. That's what fills my cup the most. And yeah, I'm really excited to see obviously where my YouTube's going to go, where my TikTok's going to go, continue to work with like dream brands and things like that. That's where my focus is at the moment. So yeah, I don't know really what to answer that question. I can see us maybe having a baby in the next 5 years, because I'm 27 this year. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. I'll be 32 in 5 years. So I probably would have wanted to have my first child by then, which is actually terrifying because we are not ready for that at the moment. So, yeah, just continue growing, working on like work life. I don't know. It kind of scares me. Like 5 years ago, if you would have asked me like what my 5-year plan was, I probably would have said like get engaged, have a baby, like, and now I'm here, I'm like, oh my god, like, not ready for any of that, to be honest. So I don't know, we'll see where we go. I feel like I definitely didn't answer that question. But let's move on to the next one. My camera's about to overheat again, so we might have to take a little aircon break. Oh, this says, Molly, I love your vlogs so much. Thank you. You've inspired me so much to live a slower, peaceful life. Love that. And then it says, I'd love to know how you got the confidence to become self-employed. I feel like I just touched on this a little bit, but we'll go over it again. Heated again. I feel like my camera hates me this morning, but I've literally just spun the car around so that the sun isn't directly on the camera. So hopefully we get somewhere with that. But again, I was just about to really get into a question then. But it was all about like how I got the confidence to become self-employed. I feel like I go on about this a lot. If you're new to my videos and you know you didn't know I was on YouTube, a lot of people like come over to YouTube and they're like, oh, I've been watching your TikToks for ages and I didn't even realise you had a YouTube. So we'll go into it a little bit again. We'll have a little bit of story time. So I graduated from uni. I moved up here. I had to find a job really quickly. We knew that we wanted to save for a house, so I just had to kind of get into work. I was really struggling to find a job directly within interior design, which is what my degree was in. So I ended up in, basically, I don't know if I've ever said this, but like a sofa manufacturer's. It was a big factory. I worked in the design department, so I helped select the fabrics for sofas that were made for like DFS, Next Home, that kind of thing. It was a very sort of baseline. There was a lot of admin. It wasn't much more money than minimum wage. I was working with like people that I didn't really click with, as I said. It wasn't in a very nice area. There was just a lot of elements about that job that just made me feel really claustrophobic. And going from like Sheffield uni, where I was surrounded by people that I loved. I'd moved to this new city. I loved Sheffield so much. It was so fun. Like life was so spontaneous and it just felt like one big holiday, to be honest with you. Which is one reason why I'm so grateful that I went to uni. But like moving away from your hometown at 18 and everything just felt so exciting and so new, and going from that straight into a job like that literally sucked the life out of my soul, to be honest with you, and I really just fell out of love with life. I know that sounds really dramatic, but I was in a really, really bad place. Like, I just kind of like went into myself, and like most days I just used to cry, like, not as to say this is like a real bad sob story. I feel like most people have had a story similar to this. But I just really struggled, and there was a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore, and I'm going to do everything it takes to never be in a position like this again. I also had a boss that used to be really nasty to me and the other girls in the office, and just used to speak to us like we were like on the floor, basically. And I just said, I'm never going to have a boss again. I'm never going to be spoken to like this again. I'm never going to have to put myself in this position again. And at that point, I just said to myself that I would literally do anything it took to get out of that position. And I was like, what do? I didn't have any money because we'd spent all of the money on the house. I was on pretty much minimum wage. But I made a little startup business. It was called Black and Bow Flower Co. And it was just dried flowers. I did an online floristry course during lockdown. Sold homeware, that kind of thing. I really, really enjoyed it, to be fair, but the business was literally just making enough money to pay the bills every month, if that. Like, some months I was really struggling. I didn't have like £5 for me. It was all just going onto the house and onto the bills. But I managed to make the leap from 9 to 5 into my small business. There's another story. I basically got a part-time job as a receptionist in a gym because I was like, I just need something to get out of this, just to bulk my small business money up so I could afford the bills and everything. But then that fell through, so I kind of just had to make my small business work. But I also grew up in a family where my dad owns a business. He's self-employed. He's been self-employed for as long as I can remember. So our family life we were like a self-employed family, so I didn't know any different, really. And I feel like that has a big impact on it, because you see, obviously, the first example of working life being self-employed. So that's kind of what, in my mind, I linked work to, if that makes sense. Like, indirectly, I saw how hard my dad worked, but I also saw the rewards of being self-employed. So I think a lot of that came from that. My brother's now gone on to work for his business, so he's sort of like semi-self-employed as well, and I just feel like it's your first example of working life, and I feel like it also gives you that confidence and belief that you can do it because you've seen it being done firsthand. And again, I'm really sorry, this is just solidifying the fact that I need to buy a new camera. But yeah, the combination of like basically hating my 9 to 5 experience, the confidence of seeing my dad do it firsthand and growing up in a family where we had the perks of being self-employed. Because I do think that makes a difference. Like Sam's family, and this isn't to say that a 9 to 5 is bad and being self-employed is amazing, because that's not right, and there's pros and cons to both of them, and I feel like each person suits a different thing differently. I don't feel like there's one that's better than the other. Like, that is not what I believe in, but what I'm saying is Sam's family have always been a 9 to 5 family. So they've gone to, they've got a job, they have a standard pension, like it's very, what's the word? Like, it's a very sort of like, it's a process, isn't it? Like, you work your years and then you go, and they're both retired now, they're living off their pension. Whereas my family, my dad built his business from literally ground zero with his brother. He is one of the biggest inspirations in my life, to be totally honest with you. He's the one that has taught me all about like my work ethics, my life ethics. Like, he is a grafter, and he deserves everything good in life. Like, he has smashed his life, and I'm really, really proud of him. And he is one of the biggest inspirations in my like self-employed journey. But him and his brother literally started a business from ground zero, and they do really, really well for themselves. And they've gone through periods of not having any money, of really struggling, and they've built that business up from nothing. So I've kind of seen that happen. Like, when I was born, my dad didn't have any money. Like, my mum and dad really struggled for money, to a point, where now my dad is so comfortable, and, he's bought a boat. Like, he lived this lovely life, and I've seen that, like, sort of, come to fruition, like, in front of my eyes. And don't get me wrong, there's hardships of being self-employed. Like, he'd always be on his phone, and I remember, like, even being on holiday, him being on his phone, like, organising business and everything like that. But I feel like that's given me the confidence, because that's something that Sam struggles with more so. Like, he could never really see it being a possibility. Like, he struggles in the confidence and the belief that he could ever do anything like that, because his family did something different. So I think that makes a difference. And yeah, I'm just spurred on by like my reason why. And I feel like to do anything like this, to be self-employed, or even if you've got like a goal that you're working towards, you need a reason why. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it will get you up in the morning, and it will give you the motivation that you need to do everything. So my reason why is like, I don't want a boss. I don't want to feel how I did in that 9-to-5 job, and I want to live a life of sort of flexibility and give my children everything that my dad was able to give us. So yeah, you need a strong reason why. And I kind of have always had that self-belief, like, I'm just going to make it happen. Like, I'm just going to make it happen. Like, when I got that part-time job as a receptionist in a gym, literally signed the contracts, everything. And then the day before that I was due to leave my 9-to-5, they rang me up and was like, we don't need you anymore. And I was like, what? Like, that was the only stable bit of money that I was going to get, which allowed me to sort of quit my 9-to-5 and sort of like take on more of my small business. It just gave me that buffer that I knew I was going to get like £300 a month, and I knew I'd be able to pay my side of the mortgage. And then that was taken away, and I was like, I have no choice but to make this work. Like, my small business, I had to make it work. And don't get me wrong, it was a struggle. Like, there was some months where I'd earn like £80, like a few sales, and that was it. But I did make it work, and I am proud of myself looking back on it. But yeah, you've just got to have the self-confidence. You've got to have a reason why that's strong enough to actually get you up in the morning and work towards it. Like, a reason why, like a nice car, that's not a strong enough reason why, in my opinion. Like, it has to have like emotions behind it. You have to like see your life in 10 years and what you want from your life, what you want it to look like, what you want to give your family or your future family. I feel like that got really deep. I could sit and talk about this for ages. Like, I really, really believe in that. And I feel like if you want to be self-employed, you've got a goal that you want to work towards. You've really got to link like strong emotions to it, not just material things like, oh, you know, I want to buy a nice handbag, or I want a nice car, I want a big house. Like, you've got to have a stronger want and a desire. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that I got that 9-to-5 job that I hated, because I feel like without that, it would have either stopped or delayed the process of me finding what I really wanted to do. So yeah, I also believe everything happens for a reason. Like, even in those days where I was so depressed in that job, like I was so drained, I'd lost any like lust for life, I was in a really, really dark place, that led me to better things. So yeah, I also touched on this in that TikTok when I was saying that I didn't use my degree, and I'm in like over 40 grand's worth of debt, which I am. But uni taught me so much more in life than just my degree and just the educational side of things. Like, I learned life skills, I moved away from my hometown at 18, I met all these new people. Like, it just expanded my sort of, I don't know, like, it just expands your mind so much. You're opened up to new things. Like, even living in a city at 18, it's like such a like, it just makes you feel so alive. Like, that spontaneity of living in a city, and I'd gone from a really small village, so it was like, oh my god, this is like a whole new world. So yeah, again, I've taken a massive tangent. I feel like this video is just one big mess, so apologies about that. I think we've got one more question. I feel like we've got through these really fast, and I feel like I've been word vomiting. Let's just take a little break and have some coffee, because I feel like this video has just been one big jumble. Right. How long have you been on this channel? I don't actually know. I think I posted my first video a couple of years ago. Maybe a year and a half ago. I know I'd been on TikTok for a while before I made the jump to YouTube. Because the jump from TikTok to YouTube is quite big. I'm not gonna lie, it's completely different type of content. I know it is to watch, but to like film, it's a completely different ballpark. What am I even trying to say? But like, making long form content, it is a bit of a shock to the system, I'm not gonna lie. When you go from filming TikToks that are like a minute long to trying to churn out like a half an hour video, it can take quite a while to get used to it. And to be honest with you, I only feel like in the past maybe like under 6 months, I'd say like 3 or 4 months, I've found my feet with YouTube. I feel like before that, don't get me wrong, I'm still winging it. Like, from watching this video, you'll probably think, well, you still haven't found your feet, but I feel like I'm getting more, it's becoming more natural to me to film a YouTube video, because this is the most unnatural thing in the world. Like, sitting in your car, there's literally a man to my left in his truck watching me, like, what is she doing? Like, I'm on my own right now having a full-on conversation, pretending, well, there is people watching this video hopefully now, but it's so unnatural. It really is so unnatural. So it does take a while to get used to this, because my TikToks, I've always just filmed, done a voiceover. It's a lot easier to do, but sitting here chatting to a camera, it does take a while to get used to, and it does take a while to find your feet with it and for it to become a natural thing. So yeah, I feel like in the last like 3 or 4 months I've kind of found my feet and like the style of filming that I like to do. But yeah, I think I've been on this channel for nearly 2 years, if not like a year and a half. But I am really enjoying it. I feel like on YouTube it's a good way of like connecting with people a little bit more. I feel like on TikTok it's like a bit of a trailer, a bit of a sneak peek, and then YouTube is like where the committed people come over if they really like watching your content. And I love watching YouTube videos. Like when I'm working at home, I feel like it's a bit of company having YouTube in the background. A lot of the time I'm on my own when I work from home, so it's nice to have a video on in the background. It just gives you a bit of company, and I feel like it's a lot nicer than just sitting watching Netflix or something like that. I feel like you actually create quite strong bonds with the people that you're watching, and you become like invested in their life. I'm invested in a lot of people that I watch. So yeah, I feel like YouTube is for the committed people that really like your content, which is really nice, and I've really enjoyed like growing a little community over here. I really also enjoy the community tab where I can like post pictures and chat with you. That's something that I've like discovered quite recently, and I do really enjoy it. So for future videos like this, I'll always put on there, if anyone's got any questions, leave them there, and then I can chat about them in these videos. But yeah, that's a bit of everything I think we've covered. As always, if you've got any more questions that you want me to cover in the next one of these videos, let me know in these comments, because I do always struggle for things to talk about, I'm not going to lie, because I don't really use my Instagram for this type of thing. Obviously, when most people do these, they'll put a question box up on their story and people can comment anonymously on there. But I don't really use my Instagram like that. So yeah, if you've got anything that you want to chat about in the next one of these videos, drop it in the comments and I will remember to look through and come back to it whenever we film one. But thank you so much for watching this complete mess, to be honest with you. I feel like I started filming again like 8 times because it's overheated. It's overheating now, so I'm trying to speed this up. But yeah, thank you so much as always for being here. Leave in the comments if you've got anything that we want to chat about next time, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And don't forget to subscribe as well on the topic of this YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, then please make sure you do, because it does really help, and then you won't ever miss any videos. So yeah, have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.